Hello, everyone, and welcome to Grid Live Pre-Race. Adam, Daniel, Joe, and Josh hit with me today. Our focus is going to be on the Formula One Championship battle. Could we see a power shift with Hamilton taking control, or will Max Verstappen respond? And before we get started today, I wanted to acknowledge three news stories we have developing this morning. First and foremost, Robin Miller from Racer.com opened up about his battle with cancer and leukemia in an op-ed, and Robin Miller revealed that his health is continuing to decline, and it's just going to be a matter of time before he's no longer with us. And we just wanted to acknowledge that and send well wishes to Robin Miller's family during this difficult time. And also had two scary crashes this morning. One at Brands Hatch, a very scary flip involving driver and marshal, and then at Spa-Francorchamps at Radion, there was a massive four-car crash, and luckily all four drivers were able to walk away from the incident. So very lucky escape for Kevin Estra, Frank Pereira, Jack Aiken, and Davide Rigon. Really happy to see all of those drivers walkaways, and all of our thoughts and prayers are with Robin Miller and those who were affected by that really scary crash at Brands Hatch, and wishing for the best for all of the drivers at Spa who were lucky enough to walk away with what's been reported as non-life threatening injuries. And we definitely encourage all of our viewers to participate in the chat room below, and let's kick off our show. We're going to talk a little bit about the W Series with a recap of the race that just finished up in Hungary.
W Series race finishing up at Hungary, and boy, was it something! Round four is in the books, and at the end, when it comes to the first race for the W Series at the Hungaroring, Jamie Chadwick from pole, no contest, takes the win and fastest lap. Alice Powell finished second place, as now second in the points behind Chadwick by just 1 point. So 1 point is all that's going to separate them entering Spa next weekend. And of course, both of them have won from pole. The slipstream draft was not as powerful as many were expecting, like the last time we saw. Starting with you, Daniel, entering Spa. Could the race at Spa shake up the championship, and could we see potentially a different winner?
It's going to be really close, as it's been in the first half of the championship so far, with both Jamie and Alice doing great. Of course, they both won 2 races each. Today, there was, as you said, there was no competition for Jamie. She has been really dominant since free practice, really. In qualifying, she was amazing in the second sector, where she really made a difference. And of course, coming to the next round, I would say that it's really difficult to predict because of course so far Jamie and Alice have been quite dominant, but today Nerea Marti took her first podium, and Fabian Wolven has been also close to her first victory last time out. We don't know if we can see a new winner in the second half of the season, but maybe there will be more drivers catching up with the 2 drivers that so far have been really dominant.
Absolutely, I'm sticking with you there, Daniel, as well, because my pick coming into this weekend for a race winner was Fabian Wolverend, and she ended up crashing on the opening lap of the race and then unfortunately retiring several laps later. A pointless day for her, unfortunately, but Jamie Chadwick, fantastic, and I don't really see a championship switch around coming up soon. We're halfway through the season now. Spa in 4 weeks' time. Jamie Chadwick won today's race by 10.1 seconds. She did what she did in Austria, number 2. Just ran away with it fantastically as well. I'm disappointed in Alice Powell today. She could have gained a bit closer. But in terms of a different winner, I'm sticking with what Daniel said, Fabian Wolverend. She's very much due a race win.
Very much close to a race win. I mean, one of the big things entering Spa, the points, it's going to be really unique, especially with that long straightaway. And one of the big things I know we're going to be talking about is when it comes to entering Spa, what's going to be really important for all the drivers in the W Series. Now, of course, the points got really close between Jamie Chadwick and Alice Powell. We also saw a shakeup as Fabian Wolven, of course, retired from the race on lap 1 at incident, exiting that first corner, lost the front wing, just falling back, no pace, really retired. Then we saw Visser, only fifth place, unable to get around Serdikova. Many anticipated her up towards the front, and Sarah Moore, no points today, scoring outside the top 10. Big missed opportunity. Was this race a missed opportunity for everyone to essentially try to gain on Jamie Chadwick and Alice Powell?
Massively, because we predicted 2 weeks ago that Hungary was going to be an absolutely fantastic race, and I fell asleep halfway through it. It was a typical track. They describe it as Monaco without the barriers. Sadly, we saw that with the W Series. You can see it's 14 turns, 2.72 miles. Chadwick's fastest lap time during the race was a 1:43.611. And yeah, first race here at Hungary as well. But it just didn't deliver good racing. By the end of lap 3, Jamie had had 3 fastest laps in a row. That continued throughout the race, and nobody could get near her. And then also we had this weird situation where, as you pointed out as well, Bajskavisa couldn't get round Sidakova. And that shouldn't be right. They had a massive long straightaway down towards turn 1. We should have seen overtaking today. We didn't. I'm starting to think, did the team think it was going to rain throughout this race as what was predicted with the thunderstorms? So, yeah, massive ball drop for everybody this weekend to gain points on Alice Powell and Jamie Chadwick. They finished 1-2. Gap now down to, 3 points between them in the title? Unbelievable. Best driver of the day, Norina Marti, in third place. Held off Sidakova, held off Bajskavisa. Kemalainen and the 2 Garcias had a little bit of battle. Massive drop ball for everybody. The only driver I thought who did well today, actually, was I think was it Saber Moore? No, not Saber. Yeah, Saber Cook. Sorry, driving without her wing mirrors. I think that was more impressive today than what some of the overtakes we saw, or lack of.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you, Josh. Let me just say how great of a race Nerea Marti did today. I'm super proud of Nerea. I've been on trackside with her in her season in 2019 in Spanish Formula 4. And I'm super proud of her. I knew that her first podium was going to come pretty soon. I didn't expect her to be on the podium straight in the first part of the season. But yeah, she's massively competitive, massively talented. And also big props to Irina Sidorkova, who did not crack under pressure. She had the Bajskavisa right on her tail throughout the whole race. And while we saw Marta Garcia, with obviously more experience, also won a race in 2019, she did crack under pressure. She had Emma Kemalainen, another massively fast driver, right behind for most of the race, and then made a mistake into turn 11, I think, in lap 10, I think. And she lost the position to Emma, who is really always a fierce competitor and always right up there to try to gain a position when the opportunity arises. So massive props to Irina, who is of course 18-year-old. And had the opportunity to gain a position. She was one of, as you said, one of the few drivers that actually did gain position during the race. Great race also for Saber Cook, as you said. She drove the whole race without the wing mirrors, so also that was a highlight for me as well. She lost the position. She was actually up to P13 and lost the position to Miki Koyama, who also did a couple of overtaking. So really good race for Miki as well. We know that she had so far had a quite a difficult season, hampered by a lot of technical issues. So a little bit of a cleaner race for Miki, and she showed that with gaining some places in a very difficult track to overtake. That was not a surprise, but as you said, Josh, we kind of expected something more from this race, especially since that W Series always provided some great racing. But still, good stories. Jamie doing great as expected. I also had expected a little more of a battle from Alice Powell, especially in the first lap, but she really wasn't off the line as good as Jamie. And then, as I said, massive props to the two academy drivers, Irina Sidorkova and Nerea Marti, who I just sent a text message to her to congratulate, because she is my driver of the day.
Definitely, that's really exciting to hear when it comes to this race, as both mentioned, we didn't see a whole lot of passing. But towards the end, especially when we got less than 5 minutes, that's where we saw Miki Koyama make that move with Abby Eaton. Of course, there was contact entering the corner. They were side by side afterwards. Now, Miki Koyama did get around, but we do know there is an investigation going on as of now. If we hear the results of that investigation, we will report that on the air or on our Twitter as well. But then we also saw Marta Garcia. She got wide exiting 12, ended up side by side, essentially with Emma Kimmelinen, and she got around to take that position. And at the end, it seems like that's where we're seeing a little bit more of the racing action. Was that because this was part of a tire management strategy? Because we know the tires they started on is the tires they finished. And essentially, it seems like towards the end, people were anticipating Visser to get around, but was unable to. Is this just all tire management?
Possibly. Well, let's say that in the Formula Regional European Championship, where the same cars, the same regional Formula 3 cars are used, there's Pirelli tires, while the W Series uses the Hankook tires, which we spoke with Jamie throughout last year about this, and she said that really the tire behavior is massively different, and the Hankook allows a lot to push a lot more throughout the race, and there is very little performance drop. Still, of course, we as you said correctly, we said a little bit of tire management towards the end, I think, and probably Marta Garcia's mistake in the second half of the race was probably due to some tire wear. But yes, I think you might be correct. We will ask the drivers in the coming hours about this.
Noticed throughout the race as well, and quite early on, several of the drivers had a lot of lines on their front left tyres. That would be the inside right if you're on board with them as well. And so a lot of graining already happening on the cars. And for the incident with Abby Eaton as well and Koyama, it was an interesting one as well, because as they came down the hill in towards turn 2, Abby had a wide line at the exit of the first turn, so she defended hard into the inside of turn 2. And it just all looked like just simply Koyama ran into the back of her before the lockup, and then obviously afterwards locked up. Very strange accident. I do agree, it could be something with the tyre wear, but Abby was defending the inside line, and Koyama just went right back into her. I think they both got caught out because they didn't know how close each other were, but to agree, yeah, we saw tyre wear throughout the race. As early as, I think, was Megan noticed it was lap 6 we saw it down at turn 1. So yeah, the tyres, of course, Hanooks, and they're going around on Pirelli rubber that's been laid on the circuit. I think it's Michelin for the Porsche Super Cups, but F3 and F1 use the Pirelli rubber, and only W Series uses Hanook tyres. So they're going around on two different mixtures. It's like an ice rink. You're going to slide around a lot until it bites in once you've worn the shine off. So, yeah, I think tyre wear was an issue today. And I think the incident in turn 2 was a result of neither of them knowing where to go and a quick lockup of the tyres. Because Abby just seemed to stop. It was a weird one. Abby just stopped before turn 2.
Yeah, if I can just follow up on quickly on that, I agree with Josh. I think I do not believe that it was like something that Miki was doing on purpose. Definitely, but she just was caught out by Abby, kind of braking a little bit earlier maybe than she expected. I would say that there was a racing incident. We know that now there is an investigation, an official investigation, but I saw that as a racing incident. Both Abby and Miki could make the turn, so I thought it was a good battle, and Miki did a pretty good pass on at turn 4. Yeah, that contact was not great for Abby, but still they managed to get the turn, and
yeah, it was great racing between the two, and definitely was something where really that ended the race as the action was starting to heat up. It was really just a lot of fun to watch. Now, of course, Jamie Chadwick, she leads the W Series points series over Alice Powell. However, in our grid ratings, of course, we rate each series based on driver's performance. We have Alice Powell by 1 point over Jamie Chadwick. So the competition level between the two of them is really close between the two drivers. And essentially, after the race, Jamie Chadwick said something very interesting. She said the start and exiting turn one was the most important part of this race, and then she could essentially relax, take it easy going forward. She still dominated the race. She made it look easy, but of course, we all know she is racing really hard. Spa-Francorchamps, very different track compared to what we have here today. When it comes to entering the Spa-Francorchamps circuit, what would the drivers be focusing on, and how important will qualifying be?
Qualifying is an interesting one at Spa because it's a short track in terms of laps, but it's over 7 kilometers. So it's the longest track of the year, but the shortest amounts of laps. Get yourself around that in your head. It's confusing. Drivers, I think, going into Spa will have to focus on the correct setup to handle the high speed corners. And especially, you're going to have to dial yourself into it as well. You're going to have to be perfect every single lap, because if not, Spa bites, and it bites hard if you made a mistake. We've seen that throughout the years as well, across numerous different series. For Jamie Chadwick and Alice Powell, they have now, both of them, going to go into the summer break knowing it's between them for the title. I wouldn't be considering everybody else. Focus on one person, otherwise your brain will get muddled during the race as to who you're fighting and who you're not fighting. So top two in the championship, going to be thinking it's top two. Watch out for Sarah Moore and Fabian Volverend to come back up as well, because they've effectively got nothing to lose with 4 races to go. They could be quite a surprise going up. But you mentioned as well about Jamie Chadwick, and she said that turn one was the most exciting part. She got off the line today with a lightning getaway. She was about 4 or 5 tenths clear of Alice Powell by the time she got to turn one. That doesn't necessarily work at Spa. You've got the La Source hairpin straight away, and then you've got to run up the hill through Eau Rouge, up the top at Radillon, and then down the Lacombe straight down the Kemmel straight into Lacombe. So really, you need a good exit out of one to make sure you're in the lead at the top of the hill by the end of the Kemmel Straight. Because how many times have we seen David Croft, or even if you look back last year, myself, getting very excited at the start of the race because you're slipstreaming the battles left and right. You don't know who's going to win. I remember Hamilton, Vettel, Perez and Ocon 4 abreast and towards the Lacombe chicane. The start isn't critical at Spa. It is what you do after turn one. In terms of qualifying, you don't want to qualify near the back because then you'll be left in a train. Ideally, to avoid any dramas, you want to be starting first 3 rows of the grid.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. As you said, I think the start will be exactly as you said. Yeah, the most important thing is the run towards the Lacombe chicane. Also, qualifying is a little bit less important compared to the Hungaroring. Definitely, of course, there are more passing opportunities at Spa with that long straight, Kemmel Straight, and also the run towards the bus stop chicane. I would say that probably Irina Sidorkova will have a little bit more of a hard time in Spa, because it's a lot more similar to what we saw in Silverstone as a track configuration. She saw after the race that she was struggling a little bit more with the high-speed corners because starting her racing career in Russia. She had not prior experience of these kind of circuits, and I followed her in the Formula 4 Russian Championship in 2018, I think. And she was right. She was very good in the technical and small and slow and twisty circuits, and we saw that also today in Budapest. So I think she will have a little bit more of a hard time coming to Spa-Francorchamps. But as you said, Josh, I agree that Fabienne Volven now has nothing to lose. She has experience of the Spa-Francorchamps track, even though on GT cars, not on Formula cars. But I think she will be good in Spa. It will be a little bit closer to what we saw in Silverstone. Also, Sarah Moore having a hard weekend this time out in Budapest. She might be a little bit more towards the front in Spa, just as Weiske Visser, who is basically on home circuit. So, well, she will have the Zandvoort race this year, but she has quite a lot of experience also at Spa. And I think that we will see Naomi Schiff racing in Spa-Francorchamps next time in the Puma car. Very unfortunate race for Caitlin Wood this time out. She was pretty good in practice session, but she had an issue with the rear suspension yesterday in qualifying and couldn't really make up positions after such a difficult qualifying. So we will also have, I think it's not confirmed yet, but I think we will have Naomi Schiff in the second Puma car. And that's going to be interesting as well to see a new driver, and then we will see what happens.
And when it comes to the W Series at Spa, I think it's out. I think it's going to be Jamie Chadwick, Alice Powell, and then the rest of the field. You saw what happened today in Hungary. Jamie Chadwick had a lightning start, and she took off. And what happened? She dominated. We all know how crucial Spa is. There's so many legendary corners. You have the La Source hairpin. You have the long camel straight. You even have the bus stop chicane at the end. I believe when it comes to the W Series, it's gonna be one where I think if you have at least a top 5 qualifying start, you have a shot to win. Right now, I believe it's Alice Powell, Jamie Chadwick, then the field when it comes to the W Series.
W Series, Spa-Francorchamps, that is going to be a very exciting race. I can't wait to see all those drivers around that track. It's going to be a lot of fun. And, of course, that race is going to be at the same time as the Formula One Belgium Grand Prix. Now, of course, W Series now starting their long summer break with Formula One, but Formula One hasn't started their break yet because they have a big race tomorrow, essentially, when it comes to the Hungarian Grand Prix.
It's round 11 of the 2021 Formula One season. The rivalry between Sir Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen stands at 4-5 wins favoring Max. Hamilton in the Red Bull winning streak that started at Monaco ignited a more intense rivalry, with Hamilton making contact with Verstappen on lap 1 at Silverstone and knocked Max out of the race, and Red Bull demanded further investigation into the incident involving both drivers. On Thursday, the stewards heard Red Bull's case, and they decided to take no further action, and new evidence was not discovered but created for submissions to support the petition for review. Is Red Bull playing mind games with Mercedes, trying to distract them, or could they be losing focus on the bigger picture of the championship?
For me, at the end of qualifying, we saw Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. They bumped fists, so I believe everything's all good with them now. But when it comes to tomorrow, I believe the momentum now shifted to Mercedes. They start up front. Lewis Hamilton and his teammate Valtteri Bottas, and then on road 2 is Red Bull. I believe right now it's Mercedes championship to lose, but we all know anything can happen when it comes to Formula One, and I'm looking forward to seeing how everything turns out in Hungary tomorrow.
I seem to remember last year a small chap by the name of Christian Horner has changed his name now to Karen Horner, it seems, as well, because I seem to remember last year he was complaining about the DAS system after Austria, and he did it really smugly by going up to Toto in Austria 1 and saying, I hope you don't mind, but we're going to protest that DAS system if you don't mind. And I think it was inevitable from that crash back at Silverstone. As soon as it happened, you knew Red Bull were going to try and take the maximum to this as well. Even during the red flag period, they were lobbying the stewards. Toto emailed Michael Masi the document that the late, great Charlie Whiting and the stewards at the time, back in 2016, drew up as to a racing guide for Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton, to where if one of them's ahead, who's got the right of way going into a corner. And Toto emailed that over to Michael Masi, who of course wasn't there in 2016. That was that controversial email. And then Toto seems to have just dropped it ever since that. He accepted the 10-second penalty, as did Lewis Hamilton. They fought back and they won. Then Mercedes dropped it. They completely dropped it. Come now on to Sunday evening, we knew Red Bull were going to protest the decision of a penalty. How rare is that for a team to have a go at the stewards saying that penalty wasn't harsh enough for their driver? Max Verstappen took out Sebastian Vettel in China 2018, got a 10-second penalty, still finished up there on the podium. It's fair game. All's fair in love and war in Formula One is what Martin Brundle said, and I agree. Red Bull are definitely trying to get underneath Toto and Lewis's skin. However, Mercedes literally don't care. Oh, it's like a annoying fly. They can just buzz it away. It doesn't affect your day in any way. Going on to what happened earlier on as well, I think Red Bull were a bit silly, because in that qualifying battle, they stayed behind Lewis Hamilton, and Lewis down the pit lane was, I think, purposely going slower. But out on the track, you have to go to the safety car delta time, which is about 2 minutes 35 for an outlap. So Lewis was going to that speed. But what stopped Red Bull passing him? Verstappen just got across the line. Perez didn't go across the line. I said in the commentary, oh, that means Red Bull are now going to protest Hamilton's pole because Perez didn't get across the line in time. Never stand up in court. Thankfully, haven't seen anything on the stewards about that. But I think Red Bull are now starting to get a little bit away from the championship fight, and they're going into a tit for tat with Mercedes. Is to, oh, sir, he did that wrong. He should get a penalty. He should get detention for that. It doesn't work. So, yeah, Red Bull, I think, are losing fight of this championship. They need to slap themselves in the face. As Max Verstappen said on Thursday, they all need a good kicking up the backside to realise, come back in Spa, give us the title fight we want. I think not having the front row here today for the race tomorrow, that's going to shock them. And I think that is the kick they needed. Tomorrow, we're in for a real fight back, because literally going into the summer break, gloves are off.
Yeah, I don't really understand what Red Bull think they're trying to accomplish here. I think they need to reset their mind and focus on the championship instead of playing a silly game of performative politics, because that's exactly what it seems like is going on here. And while both Hamilton and Verstappen have been silent on the appeal here, and they did speak over the phone after Silverstone, however, no details were shared about the conversation they had. On Thursday, Hamilton said that he had no regrets. He'd do the exact same move again on the opening lap at Silverstone if he had a do-over. And Verstappen still critical of Hamilton celebrating after the race while he was being attended to at the hospital. Hamilton starting on the pole for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen starting third. Another hairpin turn following the first hairpin corner. How critical is the start in the first few corners? Mercedes going to be starting on the medium tires, Red Bull on soft. Who has the advantage heading into tomorrow's Grand Prix?
Mercedes have had problems getting off the line this year, and that's enabled Red Bull to sort of have a leapfrog effect. Bottas has consistently had bad starts. He starts second on the grid. But I'm interested. Verstappen starts just behind Hamilton on the run to turn one on a different tyre compound, as you say. Now, it's a turn one hairpin. Hamilton and Bottas. Hamilton starts, I think, on the left-hand side with Verstappen behind him, Bottas on the right, which is the pit wall, the dirty side of the grid. So my prediction is Hamilton's going to get a lightning start, so is Verstappen. Bottas is going to bog down because we've seen him do it here before. Last year rings a bell as well. And I think Verstappen's going to get the toe on Hamilton, dive on the inside in turn one, and then it's going to be fireworks because we've seen it happen. Emilia-Romagna, the Tamburello. A week later in Portimao, Hamilton said, this is payback for what he did, and rammed Verstappen at turn 1 and got the lead. Week later in Spain, Verstappen paid him back and threw him off the track. And then they sort of went through Monaco when he wasn't there as well. Further back was the race after Monaco. France as well. We all remember what happened there. Hamilton got the lead at the start, but Verstappen was off the track, had to come back on. And then it was all thrown up in the air as well with the last move at lap 51 with Verstappen taking the win. Austria 1 and Austria 2, they were sort of too dispersed to really have it. Verstappen ran away with that one completely. And then lap 1 again at Silverstone. They were at it completely from the start line. It is fact that when these two are near each other on the grid, they are going to go hammer and tongue, because they know, as well as I do, and as well as you two do as well, whoever leads at the end of lap 1 gets to pit first, gets to get that gap, gets the best advantage. And really, it's hard to overtake at Hungary. So, yeah, I'm thinking Verstappen's going to get the lead and Hamilton's going to have to do what he did back in 2019. Lap 1 tomorrow is going to be so crucial, not only for the race, but for the championship as well.
You know, Josh, I have, when it comes to tomorrow, I think Lewis Hamilton's going to have a lightning start. And I believe he will be leading going into turn 1. And Max Verstappen's going to have to catch up, because it's going to be interesting to see how everything develops. I believe Lewis Hamilton will run away with the race, and Max Verstappen's going to have to find a way to catch up with the Mercedes, because his teammate starts second. Because Lewis Hamilton's teammate starts second. You don't think Valtteri Bottas will be helping his teammate to get ahead?
I think Bottas will be the equivalent of a kamikaze pilot tomorrow, because if Hamilton, as you say, does lead through turn 1, you've got to watch what Bottas is going to do. Bottas, I think, who he's himself, I think now knows he's not going to be with Mercedes next year, maybe not even in Formula 1. I think he's not really caring what he's going to do. He's winless since Russia last year. And that's not as soon as ago as you think it was. Russia was quite early on in the season. It was one of the first 8 races. I think it was round 8, wasn't it? Of the confirmed ones. No, round 7. So Russia was a long time ago for Valtteri, and he's clearly not number 1. So Valtteri's starts haven't been good this year. Lewis has had some good ones. Yeah, I could see what you mean about Bottas being the wingman again, and he played it perfectly at Silverstone, letting Hamilton through. I actually agree with you there, Adam, because I think we're going to have Bottas being a wingman and a kamikaze pilot into the side of Verstappen. It's not unusual, because didn't Bottas do that a couple of years ago with the 2 Ferraris of Vettel and Raikkonen back, I think, in 2017? My mind wants to go to. Raikkonen ran into the back of him and Vettel got a puncture as well. So, yeah, not unheard of for Valtteri to play that role here in Hungary.
And Red Bull has 2 wins in Hungary, with Mark Webber and Daniel Ricciardo compared to Mercedes. 5 wins and going for 4th on the road. Lewis Hamilton leads in most wins, poles, and podiums, so he's very, very successful at this track. If Lewis was to win tomorrow and or take the points lead, is that a sign that Mercedes has caught up to Red Bull in the title fight?
Oh yeah. If Lewis wins tomorrow, I believe this will give him and the team a huge momentum boost going into the summer break. We all know the rivalry now between Lewis and Max Verstappen, and if Lewis, and it's gonna be interesting to see what happens after the summer break. We all know the history of Spa. We all know the rivalries that have happened in the past when it comes to Formula One. This is the next chapter, and as a Formula One fan, I'm looking forward to seeing how everything develops. But if Lewis Hamilton wins tomorrow, it's going to be him and then the rest of the field.
Yeah, I agree there, actually. If Hamilton does win tomorrow, he will take that energy back into himself. 2016, or was it 2015? No, it was 2015, wasn't it? Where Rosberg was leading the title going into Hungary. Hamilton then slipped off the track. And then Rosberg had an engine failure later on in the race, and Hamilton took the win that day, or at least took the championship lead. I can't quite remember that far back, but he took the championship lead. So it is, and then went away with it for the rest of the season. So it is incredibly important who leads into the summer break, because you've got bragging rights for 4 weeks. You can ring up Max Verstappen and go, "How did the last race go, Max?" And then you'll hear him sobbing down the other end of the phone. And I've known drivers do that. I mean, Nelson Piquet and Nigel Mansell, they battled back in 1986. Piquet went as far as to print things in his local paper, having a go at Nigel Mansell, and even provoking his family members and things as well. Drivers go for anything for a world championship. I mean, do you remember Hamilton and Rosberg, Capgate? We've got Silvergate, if you want, or Stonegate, whatever you want to call it. That crash has kicked off this championship in a way that nothing else could. We were excited before. These crashes are going to keep happening. So Hamilton going after win 100 tomorrow, he's going to want that, because he'll have 101 pole positions, 100 victories. Nice way to sign off the first half of the year. As you say, it proves that Mercedes will be back up in pace. They won't have the fastest car in Formula One because they aren't developing it anymore. They've developed it once, and that's it. Red Bull are going to keep sticking things onto that car as much as Adrian Newey is drawing things in his sleep on his Etch-a-Sketch. It's going to be a title fight to the wire, but whoever gets this one here is going to, I think, lead it until the last race, and then it's going to be another fight. So this is going to be beautiful. This tomorrow is going to be Formula One at its best. A championship rivalry for the history books.
Yes, there's certainly going to be a lot on the line tomorrow. And something else that's on the line is the Constructors' Championship. McLaren's in a tight battle with Ferrari for third place right now in the Constructors. Leclerc on the podium, 2 laps short of a surprise victory at Silverstone. Qualifying, both Sainz and Ricciardo didn't advance. Sainz crashed in Q2. Ricciardo was 11th. Can Lando carry McLaren to third, or will third go to the team where both drivers are consistently scoring points?
Lando has been a surprise this year. I think he's had 4 podiums already. I'm taking a look at my monitor. Emilia-Romagna, Monaco, and in Austria too. So he's had 3 podiums this year. Could have had a 4th and I've missed it, but no. That is incredibly quick for a Mercedes engine of a McLaren. They're the top customer team. Aston have slipped away, and Williams are doing well in qualifying, unless George Russell has a weird moment in Q2. Yes, I think Lando is the driver to watch for third place in the Constructors this year. In the Drivers' Championship, and to get McLaren third in the Constructors, because he's on form. I've never seen him like this before. Not even when I was watching him in the Ginettas. When he was so little, he was like this over the steering wheel. He couldn't see anything. Racing against Sophia Flörsch. So, I think Lando is the one to watch. Ferrari have had an interesting one. They've fitted Sainz with a new engine. They broke their joker last night, which means that Sainz doesn't get a grid penalty. But then he doesn't help himself, because he starts 14th on the grid because he slung it into the wall late on in qualifying 2, causing a red flag. He's damaged the rear suspension, the front suspension as well. That's a rebuild job and a half. Charles Leclerc did get through to qualifying 3, but is in a weird position where he can't make the car work at a track that it should work at. A high speed, low speed circuit, similar to what we see at Monaco, not working. Can't understand it. It's literally a pick and mix for Ferrari, where they're good at this year, compared to the McLaren, which is quick everywhere it goes. I mean, Q2, Lando jumped up to 2nd place. That was amazing. And honestly, I think Danny Ricciardo is having a terrible season. And I know many people agree with me there. He's 8th in the championship on 50 points. But compared to Lando, he's having a terrible one. So Lando will carry Mercedes to 3rd in the Constructors, and Lando will be 3rd in the Drivers' Championship. If that is wrong at the end of the season, I will be very surprised.
I gotta completely agree with you, Josh. I believe Lando will finish 3rd in the driver standings, and when it comes to the Constructors' Championship, Lando is right now is having all the momentum for McLaren. I was surprised to see this, but with Ferrari, I don't think both their drivers will help him out. I believe that Lando will finish third in the driver championship, and McLaren will finish third in the constructor championship.
In the Hungarian Grand Prix, tomorrow's the last race in summer break, and summer break ends with the return to Spa-Francorchamps, the side of the Belgian Grand Prix. And speaking of Spa, actually in the background right here, I'm currently looking at the Total Energies 24 Hours of Spa, so definitely looking forward to checking out 24 Hours of sports car racing. And when Formula One returns from break at Spa, it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch the championship battle between Sir Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. Ray John in the championship is a long way from being over, and it looks like in the end it'll rate up there with Lauda versus Hunt, Senna versus Prost, and Schumacher versus Hill.
And now it's time for our annual Pick a Winner segment, and of course, and when the W Series wrapped up earlier today, myself, Matt, and Ben, we all picked Jamie Chadwick to win. So as we take a look at the leaderboard, Joe and I are tied for first. Kobe and Matt are tied for third, with Ben Schneider running out the top 5. And we encourage everyone to participate. Use the hashtag Pick a Winner, and if your pick is right, you'll end up on our leaderboard with double points. So now it's time for our annual picks to win. So I'll start with you, Josh. Who takes the checkered flag tomorrow at the Hungarian Grand Prix?
I don't know. It's too close to call. I need to put a smile on my face thinking about it, Adam. Okay, let's think about this logically then. Hamilton starts on pole, has a fantastic win rate here at Hungaroring. 8 victories. He's now chasing as well. Number 9, I think. Verstappen had pole here in 2019. He's got a quicker car. But then again, yeah, I'm going Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton to win race 100 at a track he has loved since 2007.
Yeah, and I'm just going with you, Josh. I think it's going to be Lewis Hamilton. He's going to carry the momentum from winning the British Grand Prix, and he's going to head into the Formula One summer break on top and looking mighty.
And for me, yes, I'm going to have to go with y'all. I'm going to have to go with Sir Lewis Hamilton to claim the checkered flag tomorrow in Hungary. And we have a comment from our own Ben Schneider saying, don't be surprised if Valtteri Bottas finds a way to steal the headlines tomorrow. Oh, won't that be surprising to see?
When it comes to tomorrow's race, I'm not going to make a surprise pick. I'm going to go with Lewis Hamilton on pole. He is really good at this track, leads just about every stat at this track. And I think he has to be definite favorite for tomorrow's race. And we encourage everyone to comment with your pick of winners. As Adam said, if you're outside the top 10, double point if you get your first pick right. So I know a couple folks that are outside the top 10 that are going to hope for their right is correct guesses tomorrow in pick a winner. And we want to thank everyone for tuning in today's program, and especially our Patreon subscribers, Colin, Mark, the show. Thank you for keeping us on the air. We're continuing to grow and invest more in the Grid Network. We have some upgrades coming up, and of course, definitely looking forward to the rest of 2021. And for all the doggos out there, be sure to check out Publis, 10% discount for Grid Network viewers. A portion of their sales goes to helping sick, homeless, and rescued dog, just like our office dog Kiska as well. And we encourage everyone to subscribe to us right here on the Grid Network on YouTube, and follow us on TikTok as well at Grid Network. There we post our weekly pick a winner videos as well as short news update, including this week. We were very busy with IndyCar news updates throughout the week. And of course, you can catch full detail of the IndyCar silly season on Grid tonight on our channel. Kobe and did a great job. And definitely want to thank everyone for tuning in. For Joshua, Adam, and Kobe on the Podium Finish, I'm Joe Samaniego. Thank you for watching and enjoy the races. Joe Samaniego here. Want to invite you to go check out Publis. Publis is a dog clothing and accessory company based in Austria. 10% of each of your purchases goes to helping dogs in need, whether it's homeless, sick, or ill dogs. This is one of the reasons why we support it. Kiska here is a rescue dog from rural Alaska and our grid office dog. We care about our furry buddies, and we know you do as well. Definitely check out pawbliss.com. There's a link on the video description, and by clicking on that link, you get a 10% discount on your purchase as well.